For preseason testing, Red Bull has pulled out the heavy guns, and even though Ferrari won the second and third days in Bahrain, it's clear that the Austrian squad is the team to beat. But there's one thing that surprised Red Bull as much as everyone else. This fact has the ability to alter the perception that the other teams have of this part of the car, despite the fact that they are the experts in tire degradation and aerodynamics. Given Verstappen's most recent remarks, is it possible that Red Bull will totally destroy the rest of the grid in 2024? And how did they do the preseason testing in Bahrain with nearly no tire degradation? It's reasonable to assume that Red Bull has maintained its supremacy mostly because of their extremely low tire degradation and capacity to quadruple tire life over competitors. This was also tested in Bahrain, where Verstappen praised the vehicle for performing precisely as he had requested, and Helmut Marko sternly warned their competitors about the modifications and new design the Austrian team intends to introduce for the 2024 season. If you're Verstappen's opponent, this remark would chill you to the bone, since despite our belief that it was almost impossible, it basically means that the other drivers on the grid would be seeing the back of this vehicle far more frequently than they did in 2023. Verstappen said, "We've made the decision to not focus on pure lap time today. Let me explain how the RB18 feels on the track. It was more crucial, in my opinion, to finish the lengthy drive and then have a better grasp of the vehicle. We concentrated on the program, and to be very honest, everything seemed to be going well. I'm satisfied with the car's performance and behavior. The race weekend will soon arrive, and all you have to do is adjust your strategy to the many situations you will encounter. It is now up to us to discover the additional potential that the team feels the car possesses." It wasn't a significant change from the previous year, but these automobiles are wind sensitive. It's basically true that breaking into and out of turn 1 on a circuit like this, where the wind can greatly affect your balance, is always difficult. However, it felt a lot like it did the year before. However, we can determine if Verstappen is bluffing or endorsing an untruth by just listening to his remarks. All we need to do is watch the Dutchman's lap time. Verstappen began the race lap simulations on the toughest tires, the C1 compound tires, with a timing of 1 minute 37.559 seconds, and he never finished slower than that in the following 13 laps. On the contrary, he not only kept getting better, but also managed to lower his lap time in the final few circuits to 1 minute 36.85 seconds, marking the 9th consecutive lap he drove in that range. On the third day of testing, Verstappen completed 12 race pace laps on a C3 tire. Similar to the C1 session, Verstappen began with a 1 minute 37.3 to 1 minute 37.5 and didn't go any worse until the 9th lap in a row. Given that Verstappen acknowledged that he was concentrating on the program of comprehending the vehicle, it's intriguing to note that the quicker time was established with the tougher compound of tires. This implies that Red Bull may have been concealing some engine performance during the third day of testing. These outcomes are significant, since on the final day of preseason testing, teams like Ferrari and McLaren showed better performance. In addition, the Dutchmen provided consistency even though they were using the C4 tire, which had a softer compound than Verstappen. The actual capabilities of the automobile were revealed when you took into account the outside temperature plummeted to 23 degrees Celsius, which was something you couldn't ignore. And by having Alonso declare that 19 other drivers know they won't be competing for the World Championship in 2024, Verstappen may have effectively demoralized the entire field. However, the deterioration of the tires is another crucial element that we must comprehend in this situation. During these preseason tests, the teams are almost always evaluating tire deterioration. Furthermore, information from the paddock indicated that Red Bull's deterioration was almost non-existent. It is obvious that a tire cannot genuinely have zero deterioration, since degradation occurs as soon as it comes into contact with Bahrain's abrasive asphalt. However, when the experts refer to zero degradation, they indicate that the car's performance is essentially unaffected by the tires' current state of wear and tear. Ferrari, the most satisfied with this sector's advancements, only succeeded in reducing the degradation to 0.15 millimeters per lap, which is a respectable accomplishment in comparison to last year, while Haas abandoned everything to figure out why their car is consuming so many tires. However, this does not alter the fact that Red Bull's deterioration is almost negligible and difficult to get. Although the rest of the grid made significant progress, Red Bull had no intention of tampering with the car's new look, which Perez and Verstappen hailed as daring and audacious. However, it's precisely what your car needs to perform better and establish a new benchmark that would be very difficult for the rest of the field to match. When it comes to the RB18's performance, it is evident that the air reaching the front tires has absolutely no bearing on how the tires deteriorate. And although Mercedes designed this highly effective front wing, which many teams will probably contest in the coming days, the tire degradation is nothing like what Red Bull has displayed over the course of the 3 days. Verstappen hasn't been exempt from the discussions surrounding this team's alleged theft of Mercedes' design, which has been deemed unsuccessful in recent years. The Dutchman said, "Our team knows what they're doing regarding the situation. In addition, we test a lot on the simulator in order to create an initial configuration. Furthermore, picking up the necessary information from a car that has never been on a circuit before is really brilliant. Our decision in the simulator surprises everyone, but I have faith in our group. They are certain that this is superior to all other products they tried throughout the winter." Helmut Marko has praised the work done by Red Bull over the past few months, despite the fact that he is still acutely aware that the design they have chosen may have a significant impact on the car's behavior starting in Suzuka. This is primarily because his team had the advantage of working on the 2024 Challenger much earlier than anyone else. Regarding this issue, the Austrians added, "Our car is more than an evolution. It's a small revolution," delivering a stern warning to the rest of the field. Our concept isn't as radical as Mercedes' earlier layout. The evidence supporting their sidebox-less design also persuaded them. It didn't work at all in practice. So we'll find out through the testing whether we can actually apply the solution, or at least anything close to it, successfully. The media is undoubtedly focused on Red Bull's new ideology, and upon closer inspection, it was discovered that the new vertical intake of the RB18 side pod serves a crucial purpose. For instance, most experts think that this section would work similarly to the bypass duct that the SF24 has. It still serves this purpose, but it is not its main objective. In addition to feeding the turbocharger, the intake cools the cooler, which is positioned at floor level and sits on a unique duct supplied by the vertical inlet. Given the extreme temperatures the vehicle will see on the season's opening 3 tracks, this is crucial. Additionally, Red Bull is probably going to go closer to the zero-pod idea for the car when we move to Suzuka. However, this approach is a more extreme variant of the V-shaped longitudinal radiator position than what has been seen in recent years. It presents them with a very large potential. However, the cooler's floor-level location makes possible one crucial feature: balancing the radiators' placement at the top of the side pods. As a result, the method improves dynamic balance while maintaining the car's center of gravity. Red Bull may not be competitive for the next few years if the creative minds of Newey and Was continue to innovate and apply notions from the past. This is especially likely if their new design becomes the industry standard and forces competitors in the industry to follow suit. Red Bull's move might potentially end up being a checkmate on the entire grid though, given that every team chose to pursue the RB19 design and that few people thought Mercedes' side pod concept had much potential following the company's 2 previous seasons with it. Given that 2026 will bring new regulations and significant engine changes to the car, it is highly unlikely that the teams will change their entire chassis philosophy for just 1 year. Therefore, this checkmate move consists of the fact that these cars are also the cars that we will most likely see in the 2025 season. So, the season may end before it has begun if Red Bull really does plan to hide additional pace for the next week and the tire deterioration is as little as they are projecting. That's all, guys. Do you believe that the Austrian team's most recent design represents a significant breakthrough? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe to our channel for more information.